Hi, welcome to my first ever video presentation. I'm going to introduce you to an add-on that I'm writing at the moment for Blender 3D. It's called BRIK, the Blender Ragdoll Implementation Kit. I hope it to be a script of tools, a collection of tools that will allow the implementation of ragdolls in the Blender game engine and for animation ultimately. As you can see, the meshes can be shot and any motion from the actions will be carried on into their ragdoll state. This is, I guess it's fairly early in development, and these hitboxes haven't really been set up on these models to exactly mimic the shape of the mesh, so they look a bit messy when they turn into ragdolls, but they are working. I set up this file to show you how quick it is to actually create a ragdoll. With my armature selected in object mode, BRIK itself appears in the tools panel to the left of the 3D view. I'll create the structure, create the hitboxes, write a game file and create the game logic. A number of custom properties have been created on the armature, and all the logic's been created on the armature. If the files aren't already there, then they will be imported into Blender without you having to link them or anything. And they'll be set up onto the relevant controllers and stuff. When I hit the create game logic button, I also create an object BRIK underscore spawn underscore location. That also has game logic on it. This handles the logic for adding the mesh in the armature to the scene. I'll just move that to layer 1. Anyone with experience of adding objects will know that you need to have your added objects on a hidden layer, in this case layer 5 at the moment, in order to add them to the scene. This is my scene with my spawn point that I've just moved from layer 5 where it was created by the BRIK script. I press tab to add my mesh and armature and press space to turn it into a ragdoll. That's what you get in about 30 seconds of using BRIK. You get a usable game engine ragdoll from your rigged mesh. You need to have a rigged mesh to start with, and then from the armature, BRIK will create the ragdoll structure. By default, it will group the rigid bodies. I'll move them to layer 4. So they can be easily seen. All the rigid bodies are grouped, as are the hitboxes. The rigid bodies have the rigid body joint constraint formed on them. And if I shift select layer 1, you'll be able to see how the rigid body structure on its own performs in the game engine, as expected. I'm using this structure to drive the deformation of the armature. On the armature, the hitboxes are all parented to their respective bones. You can see the mesh is deforming. If I hide the mesh, you can see that the hitboxes, they are currently the same size as the bones, but the hitboxes are all parented to their own bones, and they all have the game property imaginatively called BRIK can hit. That's a property that's looked for by the raycast, and any objects with that property will register a hit. The shoot script and the mouse look script aren't part of BRIK, but to turn a ragdoll, to turn a armature into a ragdoll, you simply need to toggle one property, BRIK use ragdoll. As soon as you toggle that from being false to being true, it'll turn into a ragdoll. In the game that I showed at the start, I'm using my shoot script to toggle that property. Here we look for BRIK can hit. There we are. It gets the hit object, which is the hitbox, and it gets the parent of the hitbox, which is the armature, and then the BRIK use ragdoll property is set to true. That's all that's done in the shoot script to turn a ragdoll into to turn a mesh into a ragdoll. It's as simple as that. You may have noticed, I'll just delete this and go to my other scene. You may have noticed that they were being a bit messy, the ragdolls. I have created, pre-created a rigid body structure as before. That's the same rigid body structure as before. However, I've on this one I've rescaled the objects, the rigid body objects, so that they will match the shape of the mesh. As you can see, the head is approximately the size of the head. The hand objects are approximately the same size as my large-handed little green man. And the I've not done the foot objects yet. But basically, the closer the rigid body structure matches your actual mesh, the better will be the ragdoll. I said I'd already created the rigid body structure. Back into BRIK here, created the structure. I'll create the hitboxes, write the game file, create the game logic. My BRIK spawn location has been created again. As before, I'll move that to layer 1. I appear to have created the hitbox on layer 1 automatically. They are grouped, the hitboxes are grouped, the rigid bodies are grouped. So I'll simply select them as a group and move them all back to layer 10, where they can live with all the rest of the armature and things. Let's hope this works. Ah, yes. There is, when it comes to spawning the actual meshes and stuff, there's a script that runs on the spawn point. It's called BRIK init spawn, and the mob object is where it stores the name of the armature that's going to be spawned there. This can be changed at real time to spawn different meshes, different objects. Let's change this to Plurdo armature. Plurdo is the name of the little green dude that I created. Simply change that to Plurdo armature. And why isn't that working? BRIK spawn controller 959. Armature. Oh, that sucks. BRIK spawn mob 959. This is heavily in development, as you can tell. Okay, for some reason it's saying that Plurdo armature is not in the list. Ah, I've actually called it Plurdo_arm. That was because the name was too long, was being truncated earlier. That should work. That works. So there are some bugs, but for the most part it works. The key point is in the BRIK init spawn script, you need to have the name of your spawned object correct, I guess. You can have more than one armature in the same scene. Let's see if I've got time to do this. This is the same as before. Same as in the last scene, but in this scene I'll create the structure, create the hitboxes, write the game file, which is not working. I bet that's because of a conflict from the demo scene. Yeah, multiple scenes I've yet to do some proper bug fixing on. However, on the BRIK spawn point you'll notice that there are now two data controllers. I've not really mentioned these. It's, like I said, it's more of an introduction to the script than a tutorial. I've got my data controller with the Plurdo armature data file and with the armature data file. Now I've got that set up, allowing for the scenes being different. If I change this to armature in the BRIK init spawn script, hopefully I should be able to spawn that other armature and turn that into a ragdoll instead. Yes. There we have the armature that I just created. And the little green dude. I hope this inspires some people to test out the script and find some bugs that I've not already found during the making of this little instructional video. And I hope this can eventually find some use in people's games and animations. Thanks for listening.